Hi, my name is Anatole Go. I'm in the Group B of Macroeconomy, and today I will answer the 4 questions you put for the midterm assignment, which is due for the 5th of October. The 5th of October, sorry. So for the first question, describe the unemployment rate trends from 1996 onwards, and would you describe the current unemployment rate as stable? So first off, the Singapore unemployment rate trend since 1996 is characterized by exceptional long-term stability around a remarkably low natural rate, typically hovering between 2% and 4%. This is a hallmark of high-income, small and open companies that demonstrate strong structural resilience. However, this trend is not flat. It features sharp temporary spikes that directly correspond to major global economic shocks. We saw this during the Asian financial crisis in the late 90s, but also the global financial crisis in 2008, and more recently during the COVID-19 or coronavirus pandemic in 2020. A key feature of the Singapore market is the rapid and strong recovery of the employment rate following each of these crises. Now, to your question on stability, would I describe the current unemployment rate as stable? Yes, but with an important caveat. The second quarter 2025 resident unemployment rate of 2.9%, as well as the citizen rate of 3%, is historically low and well within the non-recessionary band. And obviously, we saw this during the course, this is a condition of relative stability. However, this stability is fragile and potentially misleading. The rate ticked up slightly in June after easing in April and May, and this aggregate stability masks a significant sectoral uneveness. While domestic-oriented sectors like financial and health services are still expanding, outward-oriented sectors such as professional services and information and communications are seeing employment declines as well. So while the headline number is stable, the underlying momentum is slowing, reflecting cautious business sentiments toward global demand, and we are currently experiencing stable unemployment in a decelerating market. Okay, now on to the third question. The report notes that employment will improve at a more moderate pace than in 2024. Does this mean that there could be an increase in the unemployment rate? Yes, there is a very real possibility of an increase in the unemployment rate, unfortunately, even if employment continues to improve. This is a critical concept in labor market dynamics, as the unemployment rate is not just about numbers of new jobs. The unemployment rate, that we'll call U, is calculated by dividing the number of unemployed individuals by the labor force L, which gives us U it's equal L minus E, which is the employment, divided by L again. An increase in the unemployment rate occurs whenever the labor forces grows faster than employment, meaning the percentage change in labor force is greater than the percentage change in employment. In Singapore, we face a structurally expanding labor force due to 2 primary factors. First off would be the new resident entrance. A steady stream of fresh graduates enters the labor force, increasing increasing L. The second one is the non-resident labor. The Q2 report explicitly highlights that non-resident employment with a work permit holder in construction is driving employment growth. These workers are part of the overall labor force. If employment improves at a moderate pace, meaning the rate of job creation of the percentage of E is low, but a large... So now on to the third question, question C. The reports note that employment will improve at a more moderate pace than in 2024. Does this mean that there could be an increase in the unemployment rate? Yes, there is a very possibility of an increase in the unemployment rate, even if employment continues to improve. This is a critical concept in labor market dynamics, as the unemployment rate is not just about the numbers of new jobs. The unemployment rate, that we'll call U, is calculated by dividing the number of unemployed individuals by the labor force L, which gives us little u, it's equal big U divided by L, where the big U is L minus E, labor force minus employment. An increase in the employment rate occurs whenever the labor force grows faster than employment, giving us the percentage change of labor force greater than the percentage change of employment. In Singapore, we face a structurally expanding labor force due to two primary factors. The first one would be the new resident entrant. A steady stream of fresh graduates enters the labor force, increasing L, increasing the labor force. The second one would be the non-resident labor. So the Q2 reports explicitly highlights that non-resident employment, work permit holders in construction, is driving employment growth. These workers are part of the overall labor force, obviously. If employment improves at a moderate pace, meaning the rate of job creation of the percentage change of E, so of employment, is low, but a large cohort of new job seekers join the market, so a high percentage change of labor force, the number of people looking for a job will increase faster than the number of jobs being created. Therefore, the moderation in the job market is a direct signal that the unemployment rate is vulnerable to upward pressure. We must monitor the growth of job vacancies and the labor force participation rate to ensure that the rate of hiring keeps pace with the new supply of workers. So now on to the last question. Assume now that the Singapore government intends to roll out unemployment support. What would you advise the government to watch out for to prevent unintended consequences? The introduction of unemployment support requires extremely careful design to prevent it from undermining the very labor market efficiency that defines Singapore. The core risk is the shifting the natural rate of unemployment, NUR, upwards, a concept central to Lecture 4. I advise the government to focus on three critical guardrails rooted in the WSPS model, Lecture 3. First off, the supply side risk, reservation wage. The risk, unconditional benefits increase the workers' reservation wage, causing the wage setting curve to shift up. This leads to a permanent rise in structural unemployment. The guardrail to that risk would be the support must be time limited and activation focused. It must be decreasive over time and strictly tied to mandatory active job searching and skills upgrading through programs like Skills Future. The policy must encourage re-employment, not passive income replacement. Then the firm side risk, cost distortion. Financing the support by significantly raising employers' payroll taxes directly increases the marginal cost of hiring for firms. This cost distortion discourages private job creation and can crowd out employment. The guardrail to that risk would be the use of broad-based funding. Finance the support primarily through general revenue, avoiding mechanisms that increase the labor cost for firms, thereby minimizing the disincentive to hire. And finally, saving motives. The risk, overly generous support can weaken the household precautionary saving motives. This can be reduced stable bank funding, which inadvertently restrict credit availability for essential business investment across the wider economy. The guardrail to that risk would be to maintain a moderate replacement rate through 40 to 60%. This ensures a financial support for survival while preserving a strong immediate incentive for the individual to secure a new job quickly, maintaining market efficiency. Thank you for this. Thank you for the question.